Next up, at UFC 290, we have what could potentially be fight of the night. We have Robbie Lawler taking on Niko Price. These guys are basically the exact same fighter, except one's 40 and accomplished everything, and the other one's mid-30s and still trying to figure stuff out. But Robbie Lawler, 29-16 in his career. He is 1-4 in his last 5. He's coming off that knockout loss to Bryan Barberena, which was a bit upsetting. He's taking on Niko Price. Niko Price, 15-6 overall, 1-3-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that TKO loss to Philip Rowe. Listen, this is potentially fight of the night. I also think this is going to be Robbie Lawler's retirement fight. Win or lose. I don't imagine he's going to have too many more of these in him.
They literally have announced that it is his last fight, so that's a great call,
Thank
Angelo.
You so
there.
much.
Dana was literally has like a, this is the last Robbie Lawler fight, and all week on Twitter they're like, I can't believe this is the last time we're watching.
Oh, well,
great call.
My bad. I called the Amanda Nunes one, so anyway.
And those are Amanda's eggs inside of Nina. So there's a good chance that baby's going to look like her.
Let's hope. Robbie Lawler, former UFC welterweight champion of the world. Some of the newer fans that showed up during COVID may not realize that, but he was the welterweight champion of the world, and he did that later in life as well. This dude showed up into the UFC 20 years ago. He was just a kid knocking people out, doing his thing, learning at the highest level possible, bounced around between organizations, came back, hit a run like right when it was perfect. The stars aligned. USADA showed up. Johnny Hendricks, a few of these other greats, just USADA showed up. It changed the game, but clean Robbie Lawler came in here, took over, knocking people out, everything. The stars aligned for him. He became the champ, defended his belt a few times, really cemented himself as a great fighter that we should all be very happy that we got to watch him fight. So anybody that showed up during COVID, which there's a ton of you, right? That's when the sport really blew up. It was the only sport on TV. May not realize how accomplished he is. You're going to see an older guy that may be chinny in this fight, but he's got very good wrestling, incredible hands. And why we love Robbie Lawler is it doesn't matter how technical he is, doesn't matter what his skill sets are. He will just end up every time just biting down his mouthpiece, swinging away, trying to put on a show, trying to people get out of there. Niko Price, 15-6. He also has a good amount of experience for a young-ish. He's not super young. He's not old, whatever. Young-ish type guy. He's just like Robbie Lawler. He's going to come in here. He's going to bite down. He's going to look to have fun. He's smiling the entire time. He's like just California living out there. Always smiling, never upset, just trying to have a good time. You get what I'm saying, though.
But he lives in Florida.
I know. I rolled with him in Cape Coral.
Oh, my God. How'd it go? Tell us the inside information.
At this point, I don't remember. It's been like 10 years. Anyway,
well, that means Angelo got fucking wrecked.
He was like 19 at the time or something stupid like that.
Are you
anyway.
Sure he was
legal? So anyway, he has a ton of knockouts. He has multiple knockouts off his back, and that's going to be a highlight literally forever on all the reels. But, Niko Price is a ton of fun to watch. He can be a little bit chinny. He can wrestle. He's got grappling as well. Grappling was actually his background before he started swinging wild in these fights. The odds are surprising to me. I get it. Robbie Lawler's older. Maybe his chin is going. Bryan Barberena's not the guy that should be knocking you out. But he's proven he can do anything to anybody on any day. Niko Price is also a bit chinny. So
this guy just beat Nick Diaz
2 fights ago.
I know, but I mean, Nick Diaz is a legend.
So I am going to pick Niko Price here, but these odds, it should be minus 110, minus 105, plus 100, something like that. I think these odds are super wide Niko Price is chinny. And Robbie Lawler hits like a freight train. So anyway, Niko Price should get this done just with youth, frankly. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Niko Price gets this done by making it a complete mixed martial art fight, right? He's got to blast those kicks in there. He's got to keep the range. He's got to mix into takedowns, some wrestling. Because if you just stand and box with Robbie Lawler, even at this age, I agree, that turns it into a 50-50 fight. Because Robbie Lawler in that fight versus Bryan Barberena, I know that people remember that as kind of the finish of the fight, right? Where he's just getting overwhelmed and he looks old and he's getting beat up and he gets TKO'd and it's just not a good situation. And that is what happened in that fight. But it started happening from the pressure, which is what Niko needs in this fight. Because earlier on in that fight, when Brian Barberino had his back against the fence and he was just kind of boxing Robbie Lawler, especially early in that second round when Robbie started really working that jab was still fast. That jab still had some pop on it, and he was beating up Brian Barberino with that jab until Brian Barberino just kind of just made it dirty, made it ugly, got in his face, was kind of pushing him around, and that's what Niko needs to do. But if Niko starts just boxing this guy, and he's having fun in there, because we've seen Niko just kind of, as you mentioned, just has fun in there, his back against the fence, just starts boxing Robbie Lawler. Robbie Lawler does still have some pop. I mean, they say the last thing to go is your power. He's still going to have some pop in his hands. And if Niko's up against the fence, Robbie could land that shot. I 100% agree. But Niko, it seems in this kind of resurgence of his career that he's taking a little bit more serious. He's talked about he stopped smoking weed and all that stuff, and he wants to be an actual guy. I was the fun guy, but now I want to be that winner guy. And he kind of missed out on that Phil Rowe fight, but he came back from adversity. He was losing those first 2 rounds, almost had Phil Rowe out of that fight in the 3rd round. He just needs to bring that urgency, that pace, that pressure, the complete game early in this fight, overwhelm Robbie early, and just kind of get him out of there and make him look like the old man he looked like. But if you just start boxing Robbie, he still got it, man. He can still just stand in there and just box if you want to box him. But I feel pretty confident in Niko that he's going to be able to get it done.
Yeah, I mean, he should be able to. Literally, youth. Youth is the only. That's it. That's the reason why. So,
well, kicks, wrestling, grappling.
Youth. Okay. Old men can't get their legs up there like that. I struggle. Anyway,
well,
I think
I would beg to differ.
Somebody said Robbie Lawler looks like a porn actor, and it's actually pretty funny because as soon as they said that, I looked over. I was like, "Oh shit!" That is.
Would it be Niko Price? Looks like he's got the porn stash.
Yeah, but that hasn't been a thing since the 70s. Come on.
You think he's what's his name? Who's the bald guy?
I don't know their names.
You almost said somebody rewatched that tape back. You almost said his name, and then you're like, "Oh, that's good. I'm gonna."
I literally have no idea.
You went
no.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
At first, I thought you were talking about Niko Price, and I was going to say Ron Jeremy. But then you said Robbie, and I was like, oh, I don't know. Anyway, we're both on the same side of this fight. You're
Johnny
a little
Sins.
like other things in your life.
You're a true patriot. Happy 4th of July for sure. That is Mr. America.
You're a little farther on the spectrum than I am with this pick. But both of us on the Niko Price side. I mean, look at their recent records. This should just be a fun fight. No reason to spend any money here. I'm just going to watch the fight, enjoy it. $8,900 is a lot of money to spend, and I think this is a trap in that this is the exact type of fight that everybody thinks does not go the distance, under 2.5. But this could just be a fun slugfest, and they're both just smiling at the end, half bloody, and it goes all 3 rounds. So I'm not going to spend any money on this fight whatsoever. Do you agree with that statement that this could be that weird fight that goes all 3 rounds?
No. I think Robbie's in trouble.
Okay. Well, WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member. It's only $10 a month. $10 a month. You're going to unlock everything you have ever needed. Period. End of story.